Hello and welcome to another episode of Take Courage 143. I'm your host, Andrea Richmond, and today we have a new heart-touching episode of Take Courage entitled Courageous Generosity, a heartwarming and inspiring act. Today we are diving into a story that epitomizes the power of small acts of generosity to make monumental differences in the lives of others. It's a narrative that radiates warmth, highlights the capacity for incredible selflessness, and speaks volumes about the impact of one young heart can make. 12 years ago, at the tender age of 6, Mary Claire Miller embarked on a mission that would leave an unforgettable mark on our family's heart. With the innocence and purity that only a child can possess, Mary Claire turned a simple family garage sale into a beacon of hope and generosity for her friend and my daughter, Lauren Richmond. Lauren relapsed on March 24th, 2011, while she was in kindergarten at Our Lady's Christian School. And we're actually in the church of that school today. She left school on that day around 1 p.m. and did not return for the rest of the school year and the next school year, and then eventually was back to school starting in second grade after she had left kindergarten. So between rounds of chemotherapy, month-long hospital stays, and complications that arose from treatments, Lauren's spirit was tested in ways that words can't always capture. It was during this difficult time that Mary Claire and her family stepped forward with a heart as big as her intentions, crafting a campaign of kindness from the comfort of her home. So she utilized an oatmeal container as her treasury. Mary Claire sold items and sought donations, dedicating every penny to her friend in need. It was a gesture that transcended the monetary value of what she collected. And we're going to share that story today. A compassion action that was born from the purest form of empathy and love. So now at 19 years old, Mary Claire joins us to revisit that moment of her youth, to recount the memories of the garage sale, to share the emotions intertwined with each donation dropped into the oatmeal container, and to reflect on the profound impact of those acts of generosity, what they had on Lauren's life and her spirit during her most challenging days. So let us welcome now, I'm so excited that you're here, Mary Claire Miller, to Take Courage 143. Mary Claire, it's an absolute honor to have you.
Thank you.
Your story is a beacon of light and positivity. I can't wait for our listeners to hear it straight from you. So you're in college now.
I am. I just finished my freshman year at Penn State.
Okay.
So everything's going well. It was a good first year. I'm going to do a pre-physician assistant. So that's kind of where I'm headed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A heart of gold, right from
Thank
your
you.
youth to growing into a beautiful young lady that you are.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to share this story with my audience because I don't know, I literally went to one of my appointments with a common friend that knows your family, and it was a doctor of mine, and he actually spoke about remembering this garage sale that you had and while you were 6 years old. So let's just get started with some of the questions I have for you so we can share with the audience about how it all came about, right? So what inspired you to organize this fundraising effort for Lauren during the yard sale?
Yeah, so I was at school and I knew of what Lauren was going through. And I remember I came home from school and I was talking to my mom and I was saying, Mom, I want to find a way to help. I want to do something to help make Lauren feel better. And a little while later, we had our just neighborhood garage sale that we had every year. And so that's kind of where the idea came from, was that, you know, as a little 6-year-old, there's the world is not really open with a lot of things you can do
Right,
when
right.
you're 6.
Right.
But my mom helped me come up with the idea that we'd, make this little container and we'd sell cookies and brownies and popsicles and just that sort of little treats during our neighborhood garage sale.
And everybody loves a little girl behind a table,
Yes.
right? With lots of treats to sell.
Absolutely.
And so, can you share like your experience? Kind of just give the details. So if some little child out there is thinking about maybe doing a fundraiser kind of on their own, because children are capable of more than us adults sometimes think, right? And so you obviously found this container in your kitchen.
In the kitchen. I was like, Mom, can we use this? And it was probably still, half full with oatmeal. And I was probably like, can we like put this in a bag and save it? I really want to use this now. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. And then you proceeded. I remember it had pink construction paper, and it had a slit in the lid
and sequins, a lot of sequins on it.
Yeah, because Lauren was a sparkle girl.
Yes,
like she loved sparkle, and I think lots of little girls at 6 and 7 years old like want everything to shine. Right?
Oh, of course,
and all the glitter you can possibly get, and all the So I remember it was pink and had construction paper, and I remember that there was a lot of change in it, as well as dollar bills, which was amazing. And so when I remember also you guys bringing it to the house and dropping it off. And I thought it was like so cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, there's all this money in this container. And as a mother, I can tell you that I wanted it to be just for Lauren. And so in fact, we had started like an account for her with some of like other money that we had received, like, so she would have it as she grew older. And but this thing, because it was in this container, we used it, we traveled with it. Like she took it back and forth from the hospital. Yeah. So it's like so fun, right? And it was something that she had, and it was it wasn't super big. It was probably, yay high.
Like this high.
Yeah. And so she would take that back and forth from the hospital. Now, do you remember, like, were any of your friends with you while you did this, or was it your siblings, or?
Well, I think it was really just me like hanging out at the bottom of my driveway. And I'm sure, my brothers were around too, probably helping out in the garage, trying to, sell all the actual garage sale items. But I just remember being at the bottom of my driveway with my little table and my sign.
Yeah.
And just sitting there for a while. And, I'd have neighbors come up and talk. And I just remember being so excited that, if we ran out of something and I had to run back in the house to go and get it, I'm like, I can't believe, like, we have no more. I have to make more. And I remember coming to my mom and saying, like, Mom, we're out of brownies. Like, we have to make another batch.
Yeah.
And so while I went back outside and, kept selling like the cookies and the popsicles, I had my mom make another batch of brownies.
Yeah.
Just so to make sure that, we could just keep going until the garage sale ended.
Sounded like lots of neighborhood friends and family came to the sale. Now, is there any particularly like touching moment or memorable moment that occurred during the yard sale while you were raising money for Lauren?
I remember a lot of just people in my community coming up and asking me about my classmate and my friend Lauren, and they were really concerned and wanted to know, like, was she going to be okay? Where she was, how she was doing, and they just really showed genuine concern and just wanting to help.
So
in
amazing.
Any way that they could.
So amazing, right? So like the community that will, when you initiate like a small act of generosity or like a fundraising campaign as a little child, like the people and the families that will show up, right? In the most unexpected ways. So in your opinion, like, I can tell you some things, but can you imagine what you did like impacted Lauren, like to be able to give her some of those? She's staying at the hospital, and I guess this is more of a question for myself. See here, I tell you, it does. And I can tell you when she would take this container to the hospital, it had a lot of change, like quarters
Right.
and dimes and nickels, and then it had dollar bills too. And then there were some bigger bills as well. But she would, she didn't like the hospital food.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so between my mother and I, and my mother-in-law, of course, and my husband, we traded off time, because when she relapsed, she was in the hospital for like months at a time.
Mhm.
And one of her favorite things to do was to go to the vending machine outside the cafeterias, and actually outside the cafeteria. And Lauren loved peanut M&Ms.
I actually remember that. I remember hearing about that in, when she came back, and I'm not sure where I heard this from, but I did remember the part about the peanut M&Ms because they're my favorite candy
Oh,
too.
you're kidding.
Yeah. That always stuck with me because I'm like, oh, that's my favorite too.
Yeah. So she would go down to the vending machine outside the cafeteria, and she would always want to buy peanut M&Ms. And then her other thing that I remember just this morning, I was trying to reflect back on, like, remembering, because it has been quite a
A
few
long
years.
time, yeah.
But she loved Cool Ranch Doritos too. And so she would get Cool Ranch Doritos from the machine as well. But the peanut M&Ms have kind of stuck. We even have like a bag of peanut M&Ms under our counter right now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, so she would crave peanut M&Ms during chemotherapy. I wonder if anybody else out there has a child that craves peanut M&Ms during therapy. So that's so neat. So that's one of your favorite candies as well.
Yes, it is.
High protein, I guess.
Yeah.
So what did you learn about friendship and support through the experience of raising funds for Lauren at the yard sale? Like, that's a little bit deeper question, but
I just learned that even when you're little, it's important that you show your friends that you care about them and you care about how they're doing, and that you show that you want to help them.
yes.
And even when you're little and your options might be a little bit more limited to show that you care, there's always things that you can do to go and make a difference, even
And if
at that age.
You could always ask an adult for help as well,
Yeah,
right?
don't be afraid to ask for help and figure out a way that you can make a difference for someone.
The creative mind of a child, there is nothing more special. Oh my gosh, it like almost brings tears to my eyes. And you've answered this question. Your perspective on helping others is definitely, I think you've always been a very caring, loving individual.
Thank you.
And I don't think you struggle, whether it's the right thing to do to share, like, your life with others, or any resource that you would have that could help others. And that's a great quality to have as you walk through life. So, gosh, I know we've already been talking for quite a few minutes.
Have we?
Is there anything else that you can think of that you'd like to share about your experience? Or
I think it just really taught me that it's important to be empathetic, and that's something that I've definitely carried with me. And going through elementary school and grade school, and that's a difficult time for any kid, regardless, especially with something as difficult as going through leukemia. But it's just really important, if you know someone that is struggling, or if you're struggling yourself, just don't be afraid to ask for help, and also just to be empathetic to what somebody else is going through. You obviously can't always put yourself in their shoes, because something like that, you can't even imagine how difficult that is. But whatever you can do to just show that you really care about them is very important, especially as you grow older, and just show that you care however you can.
There's so many things in this life that we run into, and like, to continue to have that quality throughout life can only benefit you as an individual. And that love that you give, it comes back to you tenfold. Absolutely. I hope, or more. So, just amazing. You're growing into such a beautiful young lady.
Thank
Mary
you.
Claire.
I appreciate
I'm so
that.
Happy that Lauren went through grade school with you, and and you were friends, and you did this for our family. I mean, there's no payment that I could ever show back to you. I mean, it's immeasurable, like, what you've done.
Thank you.
So as we As we, come to a conclusion here on Take Courage 143, Mary Claire's story is a compelling reminder of how courage and generosity, even from the youngest among us, can sow seeds of hope and light in the darkest of times. It's a testament to the incredible difference we can make in the lives of others when we act from a place of love and genuine concern, which Mary Claire has done so graciously as a child and continues to do as an adult. So as we bring this episode to Take Courage to a close, reflecting on Mary Claire's story leaves us with profound sense of hope and an understanding of immeasurable impact of compassionate actions. Her journey is a vivid illustration that even the smallest hands can leave the biggest imprint in the world, shining the light on the strength found within the acts of courage and generosity. So today, Mary Claire not only serves as a beacon of inspiration for all of us, but also a call to action. What can you do? Do you have a friend who's going through something that's maybe a health issue, or is, as this podcast targets, or we hope to reach families that are going through children with cancer? Hopefully, this is an idea that can maybe impact a family, like that. It doesn't have to be a big to do. It doesn't have to be a huge organized activity. The activity could already be organized, right? And you just step into it with a level of compassion and understanding, and start a small fundraiser at just like a regular family event. And so before we say goodbye, let's take a moment to offer up a short prayer for all the children and families that are currently navigating the difficult journey of childhood cancer. Dear Lord, in your presence, we find hope and strength. Today, we lift up in prayer all the children battling cancer, their families, and their loved ones. May your healing hands rest upon these young warriors, granting them comfort and courage. Bless their families with perseverance, unwavering faith, and an abundance of love to support one another during trying times. Surround them with a community of care and generosity, much like Mary Claire has shown, so they may feel less alone in their struggles. May their journeys be filled with moments of joy amidst the trials, and may their spirits be bolstered by the knowledge that they are loved, supported, and never alone in their fight. Guide us all to the sources of light and hope for those in need, teaching us to act with kindness and empathy, following the example of young souls like Mary Claire. Help us to remember the power of our collective efforts to make a difference in the lives of those facing childhood cancer. Amen. So I just want to thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode of Take Courage. Let us carry forward the spirit of courageous generosity that Mary Claire exemplified, and may we all be inspired to make a positive impact in the lives of those around us. So until next time, take courage. I love you.